What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. Today we are taking a look at the first 10 FUT Champion games and as you can probably tell by the title and the thumbnail, we indeed made it into the top 100 again. We did it last weekend, we had a great start, we had a horrible middle and we had a good end. What I want to try and do this weekend is have a great start and just really go from stride to stride, taking on the games and trying not to have those bad patches. Now, as per the FUT gameplay, FUT Champions gameplay, I've got some comments from videos from the last couple of days, some stuff that I think is important to talk about, and some stuff that gets asked a lot, even though I've already talked about it. I guess a lot of new viewers, new subs that haven't heard the answer, so I'll go over it a little bit quicker. The first opponent would come up against really nice 184 team, some really good players in there, and I was extremely excited to try my best this week because I was 29 wins away from getting Elite 3 for the month. Now, of course, those 3 games that we didn't play in week 1 could come back to haunt us and mean that we don't make Elite 1. But 29 wins, not impossible. It's going to be difficult, but that's a 75% win rate. So far, we've been at about a 65 to 68% win rate in FUT Champions. So if I could just gain that extra little edge, that little edge, it might be enough for us to get there. And going forwards, next month, it's 100 wins out of 140 games, which again is about a 70% win rate, I believe. So it's, you know, it's going to be possible, if we just find that little extra edge. And I know where some of the mistakes in my team are, and some of them are my own fault for not changing things that I know are wrong. For example, having Son and Sterling up front is poor. It cost me games 100% just because of their lack of physical ability. I know Son is quite tall, so he does get a little bit, his physical stats lie a little bit because of how tall he is. But in general, we lack a physical striker. So I definitely think that going forwards, after these monthly rewards and weekly rewards are given out, I think investing in a really good, strong striker might be the way forward for us, and getting rid of Son or Sterling and putting them out on the wing. Just because I know it's cost me probably somewhere from 3 to 8 wins over the month, which again would potentially be the difference between making or not making Elite. And the reason why I keep them is because they're special cards that we earned, rather than like cards that we just bought. We can't sell them. They both got enhanced stats. They're both fantastic players as well. They've played a considerable number of games for us. But I know throughout the year we're going to get to a point where we have loads and loads of cards that we've earned, and we're not going to be able to play all of them. Like, already we've locked out Alex Hunter. He was supposed to be our marquee player, and both Son and Sterling have already played more games than him. So I don't know about that. I don't know where to go with that. Obviously, because of the daily knockout tournaments and stuff, we're going to be able to use multiple teams throughout the year, and because of the requirements for the FUT Champions every other week, we're going to have to be forced to use other players. But a lot of positions to strengthen. I also think we need to upgrade our left back spot. I'm really not happy with any of the BPL left backs, really. I know pace is the most important thing in a fullback. It just is, unfortunately. So you know, Kyle Walker and Bellerin are solid. I've got Kyle Walker in the team already. I might buy Bellerin and play him at left back. Or I might buy like Van Arnholt and play him at left back. Anyone that's got experience with Van Arnholt, let me know how it goes for you. And then also in defence, speaking of left backs, Kieran Gibbs scores a wonder goal for us there. So in defence, I'm very happy with Smalling. I think Mustafi is going to have to be upgraded at one point or another. Again, it's a shame because he's actually an untradeable for us. Very, very good untradeable at that. But Vincent Kompany, Laurent Koscielny, Nicolas Otamendi, considerably better than Mustafi in all areas, and should probably be in the team ahead of him. So there's a lot to get in. Other than that, I mean, this team's alright, man. Like, Gareth Barry has problems from time to time when he runs out of stamina, but I constantly bring him off, and you'll see a lot in this FUT Champions games. Usually at half-time or the 60th minute, Gareth Barry will come off for usually Cerner, sometimes Williams. Sometimes I put centre back in there. It depends how the game's going. If I'm losing the game, I'll probably put Williams in there. because he wins, and you can see actually in this one I bought on Williams and Cerner. Williams wins headers, man. Like the centre backs at CDM, we spoke about it in yesterday's episode. They do far more than CDMs at centre back. Sorry, CDMs at CDM late on in the game. In my experience, in my opinion, of course I could be wrong, but if I'm winning, if I'm cruising, I don't need that kind of like really strong defensive-minded player. Then I'll bring on Cerner. But if I'm winning narrowly and under pressure, again I'll bring on Williams. So it really just depends on how my game's going as to whether I bring on like a defensive-minded midfielder. Even though Cerner's a right back, he's got stats of a CDM. I don't know. So I basically bring on random people for random positions. But yeah, we could definitely improve our team a little bit. You know, I wouldn't mind getting Kante into the team, maybe putting Torre at CDM, Kante at centre mid. And Rooney at centre mid, maybe bolstering our Cam spot. Now we've got Del Piero for Cam for the next 20 games after FUT Champions. I decided not to use him in FUT Champions, but yeah, we got a lot. You know, we got a lot to do. We got a lot to change, and I know that this team is doing good and winning a lot of games and winning some games comfortably. But there are so many games where I lose out just because, you know, I'm like, damn, if I'd have just had like a better player here, he might have scored that chance that this other person missed, or, you know, a better CDM might have made that tackle that Gareth Barry missed, or, you know, Koscielny might have outstrengthened that attacker where Mustafi couldn't. Like, you know, we're so close, but ultimately, I feel like, and I said this last week, I feel like we're this close to being able to get into Elite. And I never thought on a Road to Glory account that we would ever have been able to get into Elite. So very, very happy. Now, we end up winning that game 2-1, guys. And on that note, I think that was quite a close game, actually. I ended up winning it in extra time. That was a difficult game, was it? Was that the one? One of these games was really tough because the kits were near identical and I couldn't see what I was doing. So my opponent had the same problems, of course, but I think it was that one. But anyway, guys, first message is from Matteo Hit. Says, should EA either make FUT Champions shorter in the amount of games or extend the amount of days? Now, interestingly, as I'm recording this about an hour ago, they extended the time frame of FUT Champions by 24 hours this weekend because of the outage of EA over Saturday night. So they do have the capabilities to extend it. We've spoken about this before. I think 3 days is more sufficient. I think it would be more efficient. I think EA would get more people playing FUT Champions. I think it would be a lot less stressful. You know, you can limit yourself at that point to 13 games a day. That's only like 3 hours, 4 hours if you're unlucky with extra time and penalties and such. Like, that's more manageable. So yeah, I would, or that if they just switched it down to 30 games instead, I would be happy with either of those. I think 40 games a weekend, and not expecting, because EA don't expect you to do anything. EA say you can play up to 40 games. You know, as long as you play 5 games to qualify over the weekend, you can play up to 40 games. So they don't expect you to play all 40 games. But for people that love FIFA and want those rewards, playing 40 games a weekend, every weekend for a whole year, that's excessive to a point where you'll actually just turn people off, in my opinion. So yeah, that comment, very, very nice indeed. SellyTube says, NepentheZ, you're just too good. Nobody will ever have the same team or coins as you. You should live stream it, would be more helpful, like, if you agree, so you can see. Now, this actually has quite a considerable number of thumbs up as we come up against a super team here, a super English team. I think the thumbs up, because you've asked this, you've said something in 2 different points and then asked a question at the end. So the thumbs up, I think, are for live streaming. Live streaming I will eventually live stream this onto this account. It's just really difficult to get the correct preparation in order to live stream at the time I need to live stream and have other videos and other things that I'm doing in my life like in order. But the aim is every week to try and live stream this, and it just never happens, which is unfortunate. In terms of saying I'm too good and no one will ever have the same team as me, I entirely disagree. A lot of the stuff that I've got has come from squad building challenges that doesn't require game ability. And my prizes on FUT Champions have been so bad that you can quite comfortably achieve what I've got. I played 40 games a weekend, right? If you played those in divisions instead of FUT Champions, the coin rewards that you get would also be really, really good to the point where you could buy better players. Like, just investing time in this game is what gets you coins. Being good at the game gets you a few more coins, but because of my pack luck, I really don't have that much. I really don't have that much on my account. I just don't. For those of you that think that this is a stacked account or whatever, I've got Son, Sterling and Barry and Alex Hunter all untradeable. Other than that, who are my best players? Smalling, Torre and Rooney. They're like my most expensive players, and Petr Cech. Other than that, I don't have much in this club, guys. Okay, I've got a little bit here and there, but in general, I'm not exactly cash rich. Like I thought I would have had loads more at this point. Like Nick's manages coins much better than me so far this year. He's got a lot luckier in packs as well, for sure. But Nick has like a couple 100,000 coins in coins and like a couple 100,000 coins in players, whereas I only have like 30 or 40,000 in coins, and I only have a couple, maybe 300k's worth of players and consumables. So I'm considerably less than Nick in that essence. However, I have the Giovinco. I'm very close to completing the Jonas. So yeah, I'm a bit advanced in the squad building challenges compared to Nick, but in general, I have far less than Nick, who's played far less games than me. So, it's not necessarily just about how good you are, but how well you manage your coins, how well you manage your time, and how lucky you get in packs. It's a combination of all of them. Next was Pedro Mendez, says, Nepo, I broke my arm 2 weeks ago and sold my team for 270. Now the team is worth 180. Should I buy it now? By the way, love your videos. Keep up the good work. Sorry if my English isn't the best. I'm Portuguese and I'm just 14. Your English is just fine, dude, and it's sad to hear that you broke your arm, dude. Hopefully you get better soon. I don't know, can you play right now with a broken arm? If you can play 2 weeks later with a broken arm, yeah, go buy it and then play with it. If you can't, wait. Ultimately, the market is, I've never enjoyed giving advice on the market because I've never known, the market is it's an unknown entity right now, like it's literally a point, especially because of squad building challenges and especially because of FUT Champions. No one knows what's going to happen, and one of the biggest problems is, like, in FIFA 13, 14 and 15, people weren't savvy. They just would never understand what's going on or why, and they would rely on YouTubers to figure it out for them. Now what happens, especially with things like Reddit, is you'll get someone be like, hey, here's a potential squad builder challenge next week, and they'll list the potential squad building challenges. Loads of people will buy up all of these players before the squad builder challenge even comes out, expecting to make hundreds of thousands of coins, and then the squad builder challenge comes out, and now you've got all these players dumping them back on the market, just completely deading their price. Like this week's squad builder marquee matchup, squad builder challenge, was incredibly cheap to complete because people would like predetermined the trading method so hard to the point where they actually ruined it for themselves. So I don't know how the market reacts, unfortunately. I wish I had a crystal ball and could tell you exactly how everything was going to go. It's just unfortunate that I don't. And yeah, I like, your team might be worth 150k or 100k next week, but at the same time it might be worth 300k, because if the team you had is a team where someone gets a player of the month card and those players are relevant to that squad builder challenge, those player prices are going to go through the roof. For example, Fernandinho was going for like 30k when that Sterling was in player of the month, and now he's 10k. And for example, that the bronze Man City players were just extinct at 10k. Now you can't even sell them for 200 coins. And here, guys, is where we got into the top 100, 81 position. There you go, or 81st position rather. 7 wins in a row, no losses. 7 wins, no losses. We got into 81st. I was very, very happy with that. Getting into the top 100 is just awesome. I know it's not going to last. I'm not good enough to stay in the top 100. However, winning our first 7 games in a row, already getting up into like the silver ranks or being super close to the silver ranks was just, it was a great way to start the week off. It really was. Next up, guys, Joseph Flynn says, please show some love for the Serie A, Nepo. It's interesting, right? Because I don't dislike the Serie A. I just prefer the BPL or the Bundesliga or the La Liga. I don't necessarily know why either. There was a year, I think FIFA 14, I stayed in the Serie A. I didn't use any other league. Like my main team was the Serie A team. I don't know why it is. It just doesn't appeal to me. The players that they have don't appeal to me like the players that the other leagues have. And it's probably because the leagues that I watch the most, because of what we get shown on TV here a lot, are the BPL, the Bundesliga and La Liga. Now, I know Serie A games are shown on BT Sport quite a lot, but all the other stuff is shown on Sky Sports. Bundesliga is on Sky Sports. Bundesliga is also on BT Sport as well, interestingly enough. But yeah, I watch a lot of those leagues, so I feel like a connection with the players. And one of the reasons why you don't really see me use Legends much on my main account is because although I love those players when they used to play in real life, I like to play in FIFA with players that I like in real life. And that, again, is another reason why or one of the things that could potentially be the difference between us winning 26 games and 28 games, or 28 games and 30 games, is because I would rather use player A because I like him in real life instead of player B who's just better in FIFA, you know. So I don't, as I say, I don't dislike the Serie A. It's just not my go-to league. Like supposedly it's cheaper as well this year with much better players, but you know, it's one of those leagues where you can go to quite easily. By the way, this is the first game that I lost, right? That right there, that goal that he scored there, I can't remember the first goal he scored. That goal right there, that was an auto pass. I tried to control it to clear it. So I was just using the thumbstick, right, and the left trigger to like face up, or maybe LTRT to face up. And you know what causes the auto passes is using the bumpers when you're not pressing any other buttons. I don't think it's supposed to be in the game, but I auto passed it to his player. And now, normally you would say, oh, it looks like you're just trying to pass it to this guy to try and pass your way out of play. And sometimes I do try and pass my way out of play. But on this occasion, there were like 3 of his players around me and none of my players around. It was just not a logical pass at all. This, by the way, is the game where in the match screen, I have a pure white kit on and his kit is black. It's dark, like thick black stripes. And you can see it there, thick black stripes. I looked at those 2 kits and I didn't think for a second that we would kit clash. But look how light the kit is. It's basically white on the actual game. There's no real darkness to it. It's like you don't really see the black stripes. It just looks like a really light kit with like maybe a little bit of colouring to it. But in general, like I was struggling so hard in this game, and which means as well, I know my opponent was also struggling real hard in this game because we both had these super similar kits on. Which was quite frustrating. Now I ended up equalising in the 90th minute and went to penalties in this game as we take the next comment. Says Ahmed Ahmal says, Yo Nep, I know you're probably not going to read this. I did read it. But for FUT Champions Team of the Week reward packs, would it be smart to hold off till Team of the Year or Team of the Season just in case you were to pack one of these cards, or a Team of the Year cards, Team of the Season cards not available in these packs? Lovely vids, keep up the great work. Well, I don't know if they're available or not. The Screamer cards were available if they had previously had a Team of the Week in them. So, like, for example, Mandzukic, you could get in that pack because he had previously had a Team of the Week card. Balotelli, the same. So any card that had a Team of the Week card, you could actually pack as a Screamer card. So in that instance, I guess for Team of the Season and Team of the Year, probably be likely to say yes, but ultimately, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna if they will contain you know, the blue cards as well or not. You know, it's been asked to EA. They don't really give the information out about this. It's all speculation outside of that. What do you guys think? Do you think that they will or they won't? My gut instinct is that they won't contain them as well. Otherwise, you could just, like, somebody could just save them, and then open them all on Team of the Year and get like 7, you know, blue Ronaldos and 3 blue Messis, and it would just ruin the market. It really would. So I don't think that they would. iHardcore97 says, Nep, can you please read and answer this? Yes, I can. In your videos, you say that do FUT Champions gives the best rewards, but what are those people that ain't good enough to qualify? Do you have any tips for what those players can do to earn coins and get rewards, etc.? I hope you see this because the topic really interests me. So there is plenty for you guys to do that can't qualify for FUT Champions. You can still play the daily knockouts, because on that off chance that you win one, not only do you then get the reward for the daily knockouts, but you also are qualified for FUT Champions. Squad building challenges are very good to do. Other than that, you are literally limited to draft or seasons. Now, the offline draft can be profitable just because of how expensive players are. The offline draft, for example, if you did it right now, the worst prize that you get is a 7.5k pack and a 15k pack. The best prize I've seen is a 50k pack and 25,000 coins. So that's kind of like the range that you're going to get for this, right? So if you're going to hear the fireworks, by the way, I apologise. So with the offline draft, even if you've got a 7.5k pack and a 15k pack, you're probably thinking that's not even that great. But you get 22.5k's packs plus like 2,000 match coins for 15,000 entry. And right now, for example, there is a Brazilian right mid from the Russian league or from the Turkish league who's just 10k bin. He just goes for 10k because of the 10 nation or the 11 league hybrid or the 11 nation hybrid or whatever for the new squad building challenges. Like major nation players from obscure leagues go for crazy money, and they're so commonly pulled. So I definitely would say, in terms of like generating coins, offline draft would be quite handy. Online draft, if you're good enough at the game to at least get to the semi-final, would be quite handy. And then just spamming divisions. Forget about records this year, guys. No one cares about records this year. Record is not an indication of your skill. FUT Champions is where it's at for that sort of stuff. Just go and spam divisions as much as you can. Keep racking up those coins, getting those games under your belt, bettering yourself as a player, and then eventually that will help you in terms of qualifying for FUT Champions. But this, guys, is going to be the end of the video. We finished 9-1 after our first 10 games, which is unreal. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.